Now, speaking of something that's a lot more interesting, everyone knows what Shodan is, which is the search engine for the internet, which allows you to see things that are connected to the internet, not websites, but like computers. Sometimes you can find websites. I found like some Telnet servers from Lakewood and some Comcast and some routers, and you can kind of like Telnet into them if you have a proper permission or access, or if they're just open. And this isn't legal advice, so don't cite me if you guys get sued. But if they're just open or whatever, sometimes you can connect via VNC. And one thing about this, there's this application called Pentest GPT, which is an application that's supposed to allow you to like hack things. It is Grok 3 is better at Pentest than Pentest GPT. Like I asked Pentest GPT like how to hack a website or how to track a phone or whatever. Things it should be able to do. Right? Even though Grok was wrong on how to track a phone because it didn't work. It just like Pentest GPT is literally a search engine for hacking using a GPT. It should be telling me this kind of stuff. Grok is easily manipulated, right? Grok, you can manipulate Grok easily, right? I actually like that. It's good, promotes free speech, democracy, yada yada yada. You can use it to create hacking tools. Grok is easy to manipulate. It's smart, and it was able to give you some Shodan queries and also some 10i queries, which is like the Chinese ripoff of Shodan, but cheaper. So, yeah, but I'm going to save up and look at my $49 because Shodan has this really, really neat feature where you can zoom in on any building. It has a map and you can see all the internet connected devices, which is just like game over. It's game over for any company because you can just type in their address and see what kind of computers they have connected to their network, which is really interesting. But in the wee old days of the internet, in the olden days, back when you had to ride a horse and carriage to get to the computer store so you can dial up into your little game server, we had dial-up internet and dial-up access, and this entire phenomenon called war dialing, which allowed you to connect your phone to a modem, and then connect your computer to a modem and then to a phone. You could dial some computer's number, and then you could access that computer. And somehow, knowledge of this great act has been wiped from the internet and is apparently impossible to attain. So here we have Adventure in Odyssey 1999, which is why I'm so interested in this. Right? Adventure in Odyssey sparked my interest in technology. Right? The Black Oak Chronicles. You had Novacom. You had all these people spying on each other. So forgive me if I'm not going to be all against the CIA and NSA. It's like blame the evangelicals. So here we go. Here's a clip from the battle, Applesauce. This is what got me interested in modems. I've been on a search. If this was a pre-recorded episode, you hear the In the Wild sound effects right now. I've been on a search to find out how this was done, and I found a book, and I opened up in Microsoft Edge. You have the Cuckoo's Egg, which is how this guy tracks down a hacker. He hasn't really detailed it much of anything interesting yet. Then there's let me see. Here's my other PDF. So I'm going to give out some examples here. Hacking Exposed. You can find a PDF of that. It tells me what war dialers to use, but doesn't really tell me how to connect it to your computer because there are no modems in computers anymore. Once again, another feature that is gone. And I do have a modem here, but this modem is only for a credit card machine because it uses this weird port that I couldn't even find any information on. It's like some custom port. The next book I pulled up was it's the phone sweep manual thing here. And Grok was so useful for this investigation. Right, I haven't found all the answers yet, but this will be my life's work because I will track down. I'm going to find out because there's still some people who have dial-up stuff today, and it's just like, why did we turn away from this system? Right, it worked remote access without the internet. People, you just plug your phone into the wall, you plug your phone into the modem, your computer into the modem. You open up your terminal emulation software. I guess it would have been on We are so back, guys. We are so back. So yeah, this wouldn't be happening if we weren't dial up internet. Now I'm sure, well, not dial up internet, but dial in connection. But anyway, this is the clip from Adventure Odyssey, episode 83, The Battle, part 1 of 3. 2, sorry. Come on, mode. Oh, I'm actually going to turn on the audio for this.
Told me that Whitaker has a modem hooked up to his computer.
A modem?
Make sure you guys...
You mean one of those devices that connects a computer to the phone?
You win the golden cigar.
But that does us no good unless we know the number.
Ta-da!
Oh, Richard! I knew you'd come through.
Of course.
How soon can we get a modem hooked up?
Uh-oh. Come on. Let me rewind a little bit.
Through.
Of course.
How soon can we get a modem hooked up?
The question of the hour. And for the answer, I simply open the office door and voila! I already hooked one up. All we gotta do is dial.
Well, then, by all means, dial.
Your wish is my command, oh great one. Have a seat. Okay, now this may take a couple of seconds. Let's see.
Good morning, John Avery Whitaker.
Whoa, it talks.
Incredible.
It must have a voice box and artificial intelligence. Yeah, I don't have any way of talking back to it, though.
You mean we can hear it, but it can't hear us?
Yeah, but I can type in what we need. Let's see. Load, program, menu.
Loading program menu.
That's great! All right, let's see. The train set, Noah's Ark, Imagination Station.
There it is.
All right. So that's the clip from Adventure Odyssey, and you may be thinking like, what's really important about this? But you notice really that he dialed into a computer, and from the books, they also say that he was also able to dial into the grading system of the college before he got kicked out for trying to change for the grade changing scheme, which I had Grok look up information about. Then he loads a program menu, which is also really, really important to this conversation. So let me see if I can figure this out. All right, so I did multiple chats with Grok about dialing into systems and things of this nature. And I actually had to go look it up. And I asked it what softwares would run on these things like this, because as you can see from the computer in which it was able to run software that allowed it to access over the modem. And there is some remote access software called PC Anywhere from in the 90s that allowed you to access it, but you have to have the client on your computer, and they also had to have PC Anywhere running on there as well. Actually, it's from the 80s, I believe. So PC Anywhere worked anywhere, anytime, any place. But and then he also has the voice thingy. I guess that's feasible. You have all this technology that is available. Oh, I forgot. Oh, thank you for that. Like random user, I forgot I had to talk about this. Yeah. So like, guys, this is really, really important, really, really interesting. And like, we just kind of like threw it away. We can't even hook our computer up to it anymore. I can't use my cell phone. It's like a VoIP word dialer, but like, you have to know a lot of stuff with it. It's just like, what happened to this technology, and why are there no guides about it on the internet that were written post 2005? Did you people just like give up? So I'm gonna open up a PDF. It's actually not going to open it up here, but it's called Hacking Exposed, Chapter 11. Hopefully I don't get sued for reading some of this to you. So let me open it up. I'm reading it from Microsoft Edge, which it's actually good for stuff like this. Chapter 10, Network Devices. No. Oh, no. Chapter 9, Dial-Up PBX and Voicemail and VPN Hacking. I'm going to go to the war dialing chapter. So here we are from war dialing. War dialing essentially boils down to a choice of tools. He gives you the tools, Jeff. Unfortunately, these tools... Oh, also I forgot. This other book, The Diary of a Black Hat Hacker. It tells us how he hacked into some company using dial-in or dial-up anyway. So he uses these tools, tone lock, THC scan, and phone sweep. Only one of these work today. That's phone sweep. I think some of the other ones, you might have a hard time finding it. And then if choice of war dialing hardware is no important than software. And this book is so old. It's talking about running it in DOS and over a PCMIA port. So like, it's totally useless for today. Of course, you have to have your phone and voice line. It goes over the legal issues. And then, it gives you some of the information and programs that you have to run here today, and you just type in your phone number, and then you can word dial in today. Now, the aspect of this would be creating a showdown query of all the devices in your city or local region that are connected to the internet. Maybe like via Telnet or RDP or VNC would be useful today. But like Microsoft had this thing called RTS hosts, I believe, remote access service that worked over this in Windows XP. That's right, guys. In Windows XP, they had this service, remote access service, that you could do this. Windows XP Pro. So let's go through my Grok query. Hope you guys can see this on the screen. Where'd we go? Where's my streaming software? And it's just like we need to return to this. And yes, I know it's insecure, but we still should have the technology to be able to do this and access this easily, without having to download randomly risky phones. So I asked to find some books from this time period and hacking in general, like I have a computer hack, which is a really good book. It's free. Just go search for the PDF online, and it does all this thinking here. It took 45 seconds, I believe. Well, 54 seconds, 85 sources, and it gave me some of these books. The Cuckoo's Egg. Wait, no, this is the wrong chat. This is the wrong chat. Sorry, guys. Because some of these Grok chats really intense. They gave me really good information, stuff I really couldn't find easily accessible on Google. Now, of course, the links are still on Google. I'm not against Google at all. No, sir. Google is still the best search engine on the internet. All right, so we have nostalgic vibes and daily chat. Also, all right, so I did this nice little chat with Grok. It's really super duper long, so let's go into it. All right, here it is. So here's how it would happen when you word dial to the computer back then if they didn't have the internet. All you need is a computer with the modem connected to the phone line. You're going to pick your phone, range of numbers, and you're call and dial. So it was really simple back then, right? And then if you wanted to connect to it, apparently you would need terminal emulation software so that you could, or maybe if they had the software under already just in the terminal, you dial their number and you'd connect. And I downloaded a modem emulator to see if I could get this to work. It's called Virtual Modem from fabulatech.com. It costs money, but got a free trial. It didn't work for me for some reason. I guess I need a number or something. And then you log the results to see if it was a fax machine or a PC, a server, or something like that, like a mainframe. But the one thing that all the books and all the articles about word dialing overlooked is like what kind of system you'd be dialing into. Like if I were to hook up a modem somehow to my phone, to my computer and dial into it, it's not like Windows is just gonna let me log in. It's not like you can just type in my IP address and log in to whatever device that you're in. That's not how this works. Right, so you'd have to know what kind of software you can use, and so it tells you what kind of things would run on this. Maybe the access files remotely or run a bulletin board system. But it's just like how? It's not like your file system is just sitting there on the phone line, right? Now modems are extinct. Phone lines aren't the same. No one uses modems anymore. PC isn't configured for it because Windows took it away from the remote access tool. Why? Look, yes, is it maybe a security risk? Yes, but like you still have that option. You already put it in there. Like Windows 11 should have more features than Windows XP, in my opinion. Here, also, it could be good for retro computers, retro computing, anyway as well. So I asked how did Windows XP allow remote access via phone lines because I wanted to figure out how this episode worked, and it may not have been Windows, but Evans and Odyssey is a little bit time advanced as well. Also, in the grade changing scheme, like with the grade files just like sitting there on the server somewhere and people could access it. No, that makes sense today, but like you can't just oh wow guys, it connected off to the system. That's not how it works. Here it is. Remote access service was a big part of Windows XP Professional and XP Home, but to a lesser extent, which it begs the question: why are you people adding security risks if you think that what's called remote desktop is a security risk on Windows 10 and Pro? But you're not adding it on the home version of the system. What, people at home don't want to access the computer remotely? What, are they poor or something? They can't use Windows remote access. I mean, if you think about it, Windows remote access would probably be better for people who can't afford extra computers, so that they can remote in from a cheaper phone or from a friend's computer than having to buy a computer and a laptop. But Windows gonna Windows. And anyway, here's how RIS worked. And look, no one actually told me this because you have to go way back in time. You have to go look it up. You have to go look it up on Google and go search way back. But, it's not really going to tell you this information anymore if you go search it. So you have to go and filter down to when Windows XP was popular. So don't even go farther than Windows, than the year 2007. And if RES was enabled, it would ask for a username and a password, give them access, and you could browse shared folders, run programs, and even control the desktop. You had other remote software installed. And I found this to be really interesting. I also found out that some person on Reddit told me that that they could play video games over a remote access dial-up like this, which is like, why? This could still work with you plug in a cell phone, you get a remote access, and you would never have to be at the behest of someone else's game server going down again. But no, we took this away because reasons, I guess. Now, of course, it wasn't enabled. By default, that password protection, phone number, hurdle. I mean, you're not going to forget the phone number. Phone number, 10 digits long. Or some websites are 10 digits long. THE, that's 10 digits right there. And then XP. And here's some of the softwares that allows you to run remote access on this. And this is really, really important. This is really, really key. So PC Anywhere. It's been discontinued, but it allowed you to dial into other people's computers, carbon copy, and VNC, which is still used today. You also had bulletin board systems, which have access today, not over dial-in, but over telnet. So that's interesting, though. And then Windows had some systems here, building management servers. Let me see if I can pull up some more information. So on RES, with no external software, you couldn't run software, you couldn't run PC Anywhere, you couldn't run remote desktop, but you could connect it to a local office network, any things like this, limited command line access shared folders, which I think this is where people have got the thing about, oh, well, if you hack one computer, you still have access to hacking the internet. Because I think just infecting the devices on your network, because this is what I think has happened to cybersecurity. That cybersecurity has been written for things of this nature where people were remotely accessing over phone lines, and then, I guess, still in the earlier days of the internet, over the internet, right? And the problem with that is that Windows is not set up so that my computer cannot talk to my phone even though they're on the same network. It does not work like that, right? It's just like, also, people are always like so scared about getting Windows and stuff like that hacked. I mean, everything is just connected to the internet. Like, I don't even know why most people even have Windows computers anymore. All they do is browse, and they'll sit around, maybe edit some little short video, and maybe they'll be like, "Hey guys, let's do a little TikTok dance here in front of us." Like these kids that are on the video doing their little TikTok dancing things like this, they probably don't even have laptops. And if they do have laptops, they have MacBooks. And if they do have MacBooks, they're just remotely accessing the same applications that they use on their iPhones onto their MacBooks. Right, and I call it's actually happening in schools to this day. And even before Apple released that feature where you could mirror your iPhone screen onto your MacBook, it's just they're accessing websites. Like when Sarah Grace, for crying out loud, was playing freaking Papa Kart something that came out in 2007. She was like, wow, guys, this runs on a Chromebook. Of course it runs on a Chromebook. It's a game app. It's a website from 2007. Of course it runs from this. And I think that some of these things, like web applications, have taken away some of the allure of computing. It's just like, why? Why did you guys do this? And then it gets into like the stuff about security, VNC. And then here's the timeline of how it went away. So it's in XP. It's in Windows 7, but it was hidden, and Microsoft was pushing RDP and VPNs. Windows 8, it didn't really go away, but like no one cares because no one cares about Windows 8, 8.1, and Windows 10, it was removed. All right. Now, when you did RIS, it didn't have a GUI, so it just kind of like a, I guess, terminal software here. And then what you have to do is type in like these codes and stuff like this, which is like so cool, so cool. Especially when you have that, I don't know if you guys can hear this, but like just amazing, just amazing. And your access to the IP address and stuff like that. And I tried to see if I can use it on a cell phone. Probably won't work with a cell phone without a huge amount of workaround. We don't have a landline connection or a modem. So you guys don't try to dial into my computer here, okay? Oh, and here we go. Here's the software that was supported that you can actually dial into over a modem line. All right, now this is what's key. This is what's key. This is what's really driving the force behind internet hacking back then. Because everyone's talking about war dotting. In fact, some kids hacked into NASA. using that same tactic. So, gradebook program. And finally, I figured out how kids could change their school grades from home, from all those movies, from all those teen movies and teen hackers, and how Nicholas Adams was able to do it. Here's how. FileMaker Pro Claris, FileMaker Pro 5. And the manual is up online on the Internet Archive. You have to sign in and borrow it for like an hour. Versions 4 through 6, I looked up versions 5. It's supported network access, including modem connections. It can be hosted on the XP PC. The PC would then share the database over the connection as a remote user dialed in, authenticated by RAS, and use FileMaker Pro's client software. So they still have to have the software on the PC at home to edit the grades or a database. And essentially, a teacher could dial in from home, access the database, and update the student records. A host PC, the computers at the school, will be running the network records. And then you have Microsoft Access, which also allowed this as well. Custom BBS software, which could be used for setting files, messages, data, essentially like the social media before social media. So before people telling you that we didn't have social media back then, guys, IRC was invented in 1979. Okay, so just like, I'm pretty sure y'all were doing IRC rival challenges as well. And also, you know, if it did exist back then, you probably would have been doing those same dances as well. All right, games. Doom. Doom can run on a lamp. Okay, so, which people got mad at me for saying that, even though it's true. Warcraft 2, Quake, and how much longer is this chat? Oh, that's the end of that chat right there. All right, and I think I have one more chat that I have to show on this. And you know, I think we do have some of this. If you enable Telnet on your computer and you go around, you can find some BBSs. You can find some of this, but some of this technology, like call-in radio. I looked it up how it works, and I just got a whole bunch of cloud providers, which is like call-in radio exists since the 50s. Obviously, they weren't using cloud providers, okay? So, like, I think some of these things people just take for granted for how it works, that they don't even tell you how it works. And it's just like ridiculous.